Thank you very much for staying. Welcome back. Now, the Minister of Energy has tasked the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, to set up a 200-member audit task force to ensure fuel stations, especially those with gas sale outlets, comply with relevant regulations. The Sector Minister, Boakye Jako, says the ministry is meeting to develop more regulations to give the NPA more prosecutorial powers.
This explosion was one too many, and we need to bring it to a screeching halt. There are a lot of things that we are going to do through the enunciation of the new policy. We will enforce all safety and health standards. NPA, which is the regulator, is now going to be allowed to hire 200 auditors who will go from station to station to make sure that safety standards are complied with, that safety equipment such as the CO2 and the foam and this and that are all in place. But more importantly, we have to come to the sensible and the logical position of having bottling plants outside population centers, well under control, both technical and safety, so that they rather do the filling and bring to us in our homes the filled cylinders. We are in talks with NPA. They have to get people who are trainable and train them as quickly as possible and deploy them. You don't want to make a job for the boys. You just take any old Tom, Dick, and Harry and put the uniform on them and say, go be an inspector. It will be a total waste of time. NPA will select quality, trainable people, give them the basic training and send them out. So it has to be, this matter cannot wait. So we are in a hurry on it.
Meanwhile, some businesses affected by last weekend's gas explosion at Medina Atomic Junction are certainly counting their losses, especially as a new working week begins. The disaster site is one busy commercial area with a number of fuel stations sited along that stretch of the road with other businesses as well. The fuel stations there were obviously the hardest hit. Let's hear first from George Owusu, the owner of Mansco Gas Station, where the fire is reported to have emanated from.
The estimate is thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, not even thousands, millions of dollars. Because look at the articulator itself, it's gone. It's a 15-plate articulator. So now that we are going to make the estimates, so I can't tell you the real estimate now.
There's one of the gas containers where we're seeing that the fire service continued to douse the container with water and foam, trying to prevent it from getting a flame. What can you tell us about that, and what's the plan?
Yes, that container is full of gas, right? That's the one is full of gas. They want to discharge it. Yes. So there is a gas inside.
Okay. And so what will be the plan? Usually, how has the fire service personnel discussed what they will intend to do, because they've been dousing it since dawn, I believe?
What? Which one?
This one. Are they intending to offload it into a different truck?
No, they can't offload this.
Now, another fuel station, Benab filling station, was also not spared the negative consequences of the disaster. Here's Supervisor Edward Achu-Ahiamele.
We came here early. As the fire came down a little bit, we were able to come here, and then we were able to salvage this place and then shops. So
you ran everything here?
Yeah.
The filling station, you ran everything here, including the filling station, the mat, and your...
Everything.
Okay. Yeah. So in your estimation, how much have you lost, considering what you make on a weekend, on a regular?
Weekend, sometimes we used to make 17,000, 18,000. Yeah.
Out of the sale of fuel or just everything?
Out of the sale of fuel. But the mat is not part. We've rented it to a different people, so the mat is not part. Yeah.
And in terms of destruction, how badly have you been affected?
That one you can see it yourself. Our sliding doors, our windows and everything has been broken down, so that is it.
So how do you hope to resume by when?
Maybe by tomorrow we see what will happen. I can't really tell, but we are watching till tomorrow what will happen.
How about your staff? Have they been affected in any?
Nothing has happened to any one of them. But there's a little fracture. That is it that they are working on this over there. A little, fracture. Yeah.
Still on the fire disaster, officials of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, say they have begun assessing the extent of damage to businesses which operated at or around the gas explosion scene at the Atomic Junction. Ebenezer Sabute has been speaking with the regional Greater Accra coordinator of NADMO.
Definitely, there will be reliefs and some compensation. As to I won't be able to give you details for now. I'm sure you are aware that His Excellency the President has even summoned cabinet meeting for this very reason. And I think that all of that would be discussed, and government definitely would come clear as to what it's going to do for affected persons. What we have done, two major, I think one was to assist in ensuring that so many people were not affected, and also helping the fire service and the police in ensuring that at least everything was brought to its barest minimum. And then the next stage is the assessment. In fact, even yesterday we had to do, the NPA and the EPA had to do siphoning of the rest of the gas, and they even had to pump water to ensure that all the gas the ones that were left had been flared off, and therefore the place was free of any danger. I think those are the things, and now we are doing right from yesterday we started some assessment. We also had the information service van going around and doing an announcement to people to report. So we're going to look at what we have now, and then what we have asked. What I've done right now is to divide them into groups. You know, the area is wide. We have the pre-sec school, we have the hostels here, we have the Roland Circle Road, this is Hacho Road, then you have North Legon side of the road, and then the main surroundings. So the teams are going to go around and do assessment so that we can have a much broader or a much fuller appreciation of the level of impact.
Okay, so two quick questions. So when are we going to finish with the registration one, and then the assessment? How is the assessment going to be done? Is it going to be based on how big your business is, how small, or how is it going to be done?
Oh, right now, the kind of assessment we are doing, we are taking information, the names of persons who are living there, whether they were affected, whether, for example, yesterday I had to see one house which is about 400 meters thereabouts or more, where one metal that was very huge had to fly from this point.
This is live on the marketplace, and we're now crossing over to the accident scene at the Atomic Junction at Medina here in Accra, where we understand President Akufo-Addo has just arrived to assess the situation.
Coming forward too much. Coming forward too much. Charlie, Momon Kobe, Momon Kobe,
Watch your back.
Can you go back, please?
Now you can go here. Go this way. Go this way. We are going. Huh? We are going. Don't cross. Who's the video? Go beyond me. This step is safe for us.
Brothers, come up.
The events that happened before the fire eventually went off, destroying the two filling stations, some vehicles that were parked here, and a few other items. Now, the information, as you may be aware, is that 7 people died as a result, and we have 100 people receiving treatment at various hospitals. The president came in the company of the chief of staff, his deputy, and some other government officials. And then right from here, we speak to the media and then head to the hospital to also visit those who are receiving treatment. When he is done, the briefing that he's been given now, he will now open up to the media and then speak to us about his government plans going forward. For 1 minute.
And the fortunate thing is that the fuel for this station is underground inside. If the fuel has been part of the gas explosion,
Wow. But I'm told this is the 8th in the last 3 years.
8th in the last 3 years.
They didn't count some of them. Okay. So I have to count some more for.
But it's one too many. This one is one.
So we're going to be able to put a stop.
Yes.
By policy.
Yes.
I think the Ghanaian people need to be reassured that we have an answer, because this is unacceptable.
Yes. We leave it. It's possible, entirely possible it will happen again. But we squelch it now, then we begin to decongest.
And all the various people involved, traders, transporters, everybody is aware of what
Yes, they've been aware. We've engaged stakeholders for the past 5 months to come to this draft. But there was some resistance from some of the stakeholders, especially the transporters, the union. But I think that they are beginning to understand that
beginning to, or have understood?
They have understood. Well, yesterday they were here. With this happening, they know that it's the safety of our citizens. That is
has to be primary. That has to be the.
So that resistance is gone. And we pushed through the cabinet the memorandum.
Mr. President, now that you've finished looking at it, we want to turn so that you can face the press and all this comment will be properly captured.
The thing is that we have to brief him before he goes.
So are we doing the briefing now?
Yes, okay. You're doing
right. Yeah. So where is fire? Where is not more?
Yeah.
Everybody.
If you want to go down, you need to kneel down. Otherwise, just let me come.
Yeah, because I need to hear him.
All right. Now you go for it. Send monitoring and spreadsheets. By and large, there are some shortcomings which we indicated in the report. One of which was to the effect that the forecourt was too busy for an LPG station. So in the event of an explosion, most likely we are going to have more casualties. And secondly, we also indicated to them that they need to have enough and visible signs on the forecourt so that everybody who comes to the forecourt will be able to at least see the sign and then adhere to them. The last thing which we indicated to them also was to the effect that customers get too close to the point of refill. So they need to get a reserve area where customers will have will rest and then have the cylinders refilled. We followed up with another visit sometime in July, and they had corrected some of them, except the bit about the decongestion. So there was a taxi rank around. Trotro drivers could discharge passengers and pick passengers from there. There were commercial activities, very vibrant commercial activities, that to a very large extent had reduced. Additionally, they were not required to do discharge beyond 6 p.m. The preliminary information that we have received suggested that the discharge was going way into the night. So that made it difficult for us to be able to contain the situation. But by and large, because the place was decongested, we would have recorded more casualties, but for the fact that they had complied with those compliance letters that we sent to them.
The most important thing is that we take immediate action to assure Ghanaians that we've come to the end of this road.
This is what happened to Alan's sister.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. Yeah. So, Mr. President, on Thursday we'll perform
and then a statement be prepared for the country.
That's right.
And the proposal you have in mind is something that has been worked out in other places.
Mr. President, actually it is happening in Togo, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Senegal. Ghana is by and large the exception.
Let me have a look at it before cabinet.
I'll bring it.
Yes. We are the exception. We are the exception, actually. At the trade fair site, the bulk was loaded way beyond the minimum, the maximum requirement, and the truck would have exploded in the Kaswa traffic. But it was still parked at the forecourt when the manhole gave up, and it traveled about 300 meters from the point of the accident. And that if we had hit somebody very close by, the person would be just the manhole.
But let us also take the opportunity to bring Mr. President about the security arrangement and the work of fire service now. Mr. President, so far is that now we have entered the third and the fourth phase of the management of the disaster. The investigation component.
The heat in the ground.
got there when the second and the third explosion occurred. We try to identify those other, facilities that could explode again. We try to cool them below the ignition temperature so that we can avoid further explosion, and then to also prevent further spread to other facility that is close in there. Actually, was what we were doing till yesterday, around 4 p.m. when we were forced to evacuate the rest of the gas that was still in there. What we are doing now is to monitor, because the other bulk vehicle is there, and there is some sort of an amount of gas in it that is still leaking up, to ensure that nobody get there with any source of heat or fire that could again spark explosion or any other thing. We will continue to be on the ground till fully we have total normalcy on the ground, where we know that people can continue with their normal business. Thank you.
Nadmo. Your Excellency, when we received the information, NADMO men and women have been on the site since the incident started, and we are aiding the police and the fire service to carry out their duties. Currently, we are taking numbers, information, data on affected persons, so that we immediately issue relief items to them so that we cushion their burden for now. So that's what we're doing currently, and we're going around the houses around, because almost about 350 meters from here, a house got affected by the explosion. So we're going around taking those data too as well to add up so we can give them relief immediately. 350 meters. 350 meters.
Mr. President, the way that gas operates is such that petrol will be at a stagnant location until there is a source of ignition. But gas will go around looking for the source of ignition. So it will travel as far distance as it can go, even 500 meters, 1,000. So long as it is not getting it, will still continue to travel until it ignites and then it explodes. That's how gas operates.
So, Mr. President, in summary, we want to give you the assurance that we continue to be on the ground and the technical people continue to do their job until every fiber of every investigation material is considered, and then fully we'll come out with the report and recommendations where we think we need to put across, and we'll bring it to your attention, sir.
We have to thank you for the prompt response. I wasn't here, I was in the north, but the Vice President came immediately afterwards, and I was told about how promptly all of you had responded. The nation is grateful to you for that. I think that really this thing is beyond firefighters, with respect. It has to do with the policies we have to put in place that such things don't occur again. And that is a matter for us. We should be dealing with that. I feel very strongly about this. It can't continue. It can't continue. But thank you for your help. Thank you for your effort.
And those were some live visuals coming to you from the accident scene at Atomic Junction near Medina here in Accra, where the president has been on the ground to acquaint himself of developments after the gas explosion which occurred last Saturday. The various relevant stakeholders have been taking their turns to brief the president on the situation after the disaster. And that'll be it for the marketplace for today. Many thanks for your attention. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Let's make a date, same time tomorrow. Good afternoon.